Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another live stream, college basketball live stream. It will be the Redhawks of Miami of Ohio and the Thundering Herd of Marshall. In the MAC Sunbelt Challenge, Miami of Ohio undefeated on the season, trying to stay that way. We'll preview this game in just a moment. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for doing your will upon us, Lord, and please look over us all and please look over all these players and fans and everyone. Keep everyone safe today, Lord, as I ask in your name. Amen. All right, before we begin, first of all, I want to say I hope you all can hear me. My headset seems to have gotten up and vanished. So I am going to have to go through the volume in the computer today. So I hope you all can hear me okay. Miami of Ohio 23-0 on the season, going up against the Thundering Herd of Marshall 15-8 on the season as Miami of Ohio looks to extend their season opening win streak to 24. Everybody that's jumping on the live stream right now, let me know in the live chat if you can hear me today, because like I said, with my headset seems to have gone missing. So I'm having to go with the volume in the computer. So let me know if you can hear me okay. It is Marshall here trying to end the undefeated season of the Miami Redhawks, as it is the MAC Sunbelt Challenge going on here this afternoon. The late season tournament, and late season, not tournament, but showdown between the MAC and the Sunbelt. Sunbelt currently has a 2-0 lead over the MAC, with Coastal Carolina winning in triple overtime today over UMass, and Appalachian State defeating Eastern Michigan. So the Sunbelt's gotten off to a 2-0 lead in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Still have games underway going on in this challenge. It takes 7 wins to win the challenge, and the Sunbelt is off to a 2-0 lead. But this one, Miami of Ohio and Marshall, again, the Redhawks coming in undefeated, 23-0. This is a team that averages almost 93 points a game. They can put up the points. They have had some close calls their last 3 or 4 games, but have found a way to pull them out. They're coming off a 2-point win over Buffalo during the midweek. Meanwhile, they're taking on a Marshall team that averages 80 points a game. Miami of Ohio on the season has 6 players that average in double figures, so this is a very, very high potent offensive team, the Redhawks, and they've had these close games, but they've also had games where they've scored over 100 points, and they've been romping people. So it's been Miami of Ohio has found a way to do it every single way, and Marshall looks to end that undefeated run for the Redhawks. And it is Miami of Ohio and Arizona, the last 2 undefeated teams in the country. Arizona's in action today at home against Oklahoma State. We are just about set to tip this one off between the Thundering Herd and the Redhawks. Bring you the starting lineups here momentarily, as the tip is controlled by the Redhawks. It will be Woolfork, Byers, Suter, Skulljack, and Elmer, the starting 5 for Miami of Ohio, as the Redhawks will turn it over on their first possession. Eric Harding, Wyatt Fricks, Caleb Hollenbeck, Noah Achuti, and Jalen Spear, the starting 5 for Marshall. Marshall turns it over, and here's the other way, the opening 2 points of the game, but where is that going to count? We're going to have a foul. I'm not sure if they counted that. They do count that basket for Luke Skulljack, and the foul is going to be on Caleb Hollenbeck of Marshall. That'll be his first. And Skulljack going to the line to try to complete the 3-point play for the Redhawks. And he hits it. 3-0 out of the gate for Miami of Ohio. Marshall with their second possession of the game. They work it around the arc, and here's a 3-point shot in the corner that comes up short. Ball tipped out, and the Redhawks come down with it. It's a 1-on-3, and Miami gets a foul. It was a 1-on-3, and Marshall still unable to stop Miami without fouling. And it'll be 2 shots here once again at the line for the Redhawks. Jalen Spear going to be called for this foul for Marshall. That's his first. First of 2 free throws up and short from Peter Suter at the free throw line. Suter, the second leading scorer on the team for Miami, averaging just over 14 points a game. 75% shooter on the season as he hits 1 of 2. 4-0 lead for the Redhawks in the game's first minute. Right, here's on the outside. Here is Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck gives it off now to Ochuti. Ochuti driving inside and scoring the layup, and Marshall gets their first 2 points of the game, and it's a 4-2 lead for the Redhawks. Suter with it on the outside for Miami. Gives it off to Skaljak. Skaljak on the drive. Skaljak in the paint. Puts up the off-balance shot. Too strong off the glass. Ball tipped out, and the Redhawks able to save it and get an extra possession. And a three-pointer is good by Ian Elmer. And that makes it a 7-2 lead for Miami. So a good start once again for the Redhawks. Back comes Marshall the other way. This is Spear. Spear launches one from the top of the key. That's too strong. Almost got the bounce. Redhawks couldn't corral the rebound, but we are going to have a foul underneath the basket. That looks like it's going to be a loose ball foul on Miami. They're going to get Brant Byers with the foul. That'll be his first. See, a lot of people have jumped on since the beginning, so I want to tell you, if anybody can jump in the live chat and let me know if you can hear me. My headset has gone missing, so I'm having to go with the volume through the computer today, so let me know if you can hear me okay. Foul called here on the Redhawks on the pass underneath the basket. So that's 2 quick ones on the Redhawks. They're going to get Woolfolk on this foul. And Marshall will be at the free throw line for 2 free throws. It'll be Eric Harding at the line for Marshall. Harding just a 48% free throw shooter this year. Okay, can hear you perfect. Okay, thank you, Brandon. Harding, a sophomore out of Charlotte. One more coming and hits that one. But it's not going to count. We're going to have a lane violation against Marshall. So the Redhawks will inbound, still up 7-2. As Elmer will bring it up across the midcourt stripe for the Redhawks. Finds Skaljak. Skaljak on the outside, draws a bit of a double team, gets it off to Woolfolk. Woolfolk, nice bounce pass inside, and the finish for Suter on the layup on a great feed from Woolfolk, and a great start for the Redhawks, 9-2. Marshall looking to get some offense here. There's a nice drive inside, but missing the layup. Offensive rebound, however, and we have a foul on Miami. The second chance on the rebound, and Brant Byers just picked up his second foul for the Redhawks. So that could be a story. Brant Byers, the leading scorer on the season for the Redhawks, picks up 2 early fouls. And at the line is Wyatt Fricks for 2, and first one is up and good. So Byers will have to come out of the lineup here after picking up 2 early ones. Fricks hits 2 for 2 at the line, and it brings the Thundering Herd within 5 at 9-4. Here's Woolfolk. Woolfolk inside, missed the layup, but he gets fouled. That foul will be on Harding, so 3 fouls apiece already in the game's first 2.5 minutes. And more free throws coming for the Redhawks. Antoine Woolfolk at the line. 61% shooter on the season, hits the first. One more coming for Woolfolk. 17:24 remaining in the opening half. Woolfolk long on the second, and Marshall comes down with the rebound. Thundering Herd bring it up. This is Hollenbeck on the outside. Hollenbeck gives it off to Spear. Spear back over, and now a three-pointer on the way. That's short. Rebound pulled down by Elmer of the Redhawks. Elmer will bring it up across the timeline. Elmer over to Atlason, who checked in for Byers at that last stoppage. Now Woolfolk. Woolfolk. Outside it goes now to Skaljak. Skaljak. Shot clock down to 10. Skaljak finds Peter Suter. Suter looking to drive. Suter off balance jumper short. Rebound pulled down by Fricks of the Thundering Herd. Over it goes to Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck inside. Nice pass, but can't finish. On the shot is Otsuti. And back come the Redhawks. So Marshall, cold from the early going, just won for their first 6. Elmer steps back, takes a three-pointer, and swishes it. Ian Elmer with his second 3, and it's 13-4 out of the gate in favor of the Redhawks. Spear, and three-pointer is good. Jalen Spear lost the handle momentarily, regrouped, and put it up from three-point range, and gets his first field goal to make it a 13-7 game. At the other end, wide open in the corner, Elmer hits another 3. That's 3 early three-pointers for Ian Elmer, and it's 16-7 Miami. But back the other way inside and scoring is Otsuti, and all of a sudden the pace is picked up here, has quickened. 16-9. Skaljak. Pull-up jumper from just inside the foul line is a little too strong. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. And here comes Spear up across the timeline. Over to Fricks. Fricks back to Spear. Spear driving. Now steps back and will kick it outside. And the Thundering Herd resets. Spear pass inside to Harding. And a bad pass there. And the Thundering Herd turn it over. And that brings us to our first timeout at the 15:03 mark of the opening half. Great start for the Redhawks as they have 16 points on the board already. Trying to go to 24-0. They lead at 16-9 in the early going. Miami of Ohio starting 5 for their first 8 from the floor. Marshall 3 of 8. Jack, why can't you stream games other people do? Well, it's actually a copyright violation by doing that. Now, I know YouTube doesn't catch everybody doing that, but it's actually, I'm still fairly new at the YouTube thing. I don't want to run the risk of a copyright strike already. And so that's why I know some people do, and I know, but I just don't want to take that risk and get a copyright buzz and a copyright strike against me. That's a fair question, though. Imagine this, a MAC Sunbelt Challenge going on here the first week in February, and it is a 2-0 lead for the Sunbelt. It's actually now 2-1 as the MAC has picked up their first win of the challenge, as Northern Illinois has picked up a 75-74 win over Georgia State. A lot of top 25 teams in action. Yeah, Jack, believe me, if I was a little bit more, I may take a chance, but it's just not a chance I want to take. But it's fair. But I appreciate you too. And yeah, it's put this game on ESPN Plus today. I figured maybe ESPNU or maybe at least ESPN News would have maybe picked this up today since Miami of Ohio is undefeated, but that was not the case. Student section out in pretty good support today for Marshall on a Saturday afternoon. Huntington, West Virginia. Early February game. Marshall coming in. Marshall, pretty good team themselves, 15-8. So out of the timeout, it is Redhawks ball inside. Woolfolk misses, but gets his own rebound and puts it back. And two more for Woolfolk. That's his first field goal, and it's 18-9 Miami. At the other end, Marshall gets a layup inside for Noah Otsuti. That's his third field goal. He's got 6 for Marshall. But back the other way, missing a shot is Miami. And out of bounds over to Marshall. Thundering Herd bring the ball up across the midcourt stripe. Otsuti on the drive. Otsuti kicks it out to Spear. Spear now driving inside, banks it in off the glass. Jalen Spear with 5, and it's a 5-point game, 18-13. 14-minute mark, first half. Woolfolk on the outside for Miami. Woolfolk looking for help. Still looking for help. Nice pass inside and the layup. A great feed from Woolfolk to find Justin Kirby inside for his first 2 points. And it's 20-13 in favor of Miami. Back the other way. This is Spear for Marshall. Spear draws a double team, but finds a man underneath for a dunk. Is Eric Harding. A great feed from Spear underneath to Harding. And it's 20-15. Outside, Woolfolk for the Redhawks. Back outside, Atlason. Atlason kicks it back out. And now at the top of the key. The turnaround jumper is too strong from Trey Perry with his first shot attempt. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. And a deep three-pointer for Spear. That was on the very edge of the Marshall logo at midcourt, and it comes up short, and back come the Redhawks the other way. Woolfolk has it. Woolfolk passes over to Perry on the outside. Now Perry drives. Perry gets inside over a double team and scores the layup. Trey Perry got up for his first 2 points. 22-15. Yeah, Jack, I think I saw that ESPN did pick up the Miami of Ohio game. I believe they're playing Ohio next. Yeah, I saw that linear ESPN picked that game up. So that's a good thing for the Redhawks. You're into February and you're undefeated. You're going to start getting a lot of talk. Here comes Marshall. Outside with it is Dubinsky, who checked in at the timeout for Marshall. Dubinsky, bounce pass inside. And now the pull-up jumper is up and long, but an offensive rebound for Marshall. Putback is short. Another try. That's no good. And we have a held ball on a scrum for the rebound. Possession arrow will keep it with Marshall, and they're going to get a 4th crack at it this trip down the court. Jack, what team do you like? You know what? I actually don't have a so-called team. I'm just one of those neutral people that loves college basketball. That shot goes short. Rebound again for Marshall and a foul. Boy, what aggressiveness. 5 cracks at the basket for Marshall, and now they will go on the line to shoot 2. Foul is on Tyler Robbins. That's his first as we hit the under 12 with 11:50 to play in the first half. 22-15 lead for the Redhawks. But no, like I say, I'm just a neutral fan. I don't really have a so-called team I root for. There are some teams that I do not like. I'm not going to get into who those are because I try not to show bias. Yes, I actually have the actual game on ESPN Plus here right now. Now, I do know that the streaming does have a little bit of a delay, so I do keep the score bug up on the screen, so it's probably going to be a little ahead. In fact, there's no probably about it. It is going to be a little bit ahead because of that delay that they do on the streaming. So I might be a little bit behind what the actual score on the score bug is. Miami of Ohio is still 57% here in the early going. Marshall at 40%. Early rebound edge for the Thundering Herd at 10-7. They've had 5 offensive rebounds, 3 on this one possession so far. So they're a little bit more aggressive right now. Ian Elmer leading the way for the Redhawks early on with 9. Marshall's leading scorer is Noah Otsuti with 6. Again, this is a Miami of Ohio team that averages almost 93 points a game. Marshall comes in just over the 80-point mark. The other undefeated team in the country, Arizona, they are underway at home against Oklahoma State. Early 6-6 game there in Tucson. The big game of the day across college basketball is in Chapel Hill. Number 4 Duke, number 14 North Carolina. That coming up 6:30 Eastern Time from the Smith Center. Do I want to be a commentary guy? Actually, that was my long-term goal a few years back. That didn't exactly quite happen, but yes, this is what I've always wanted to do, actually. First free throw up and good out of the timeout. Second one is no good, 1 out of 2. So the lead for Miami is 6. As the Redhawks bring it up across the midcourt stripe. This is Kirby. Now Peter Suter. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Yep, that Suter pushed off with that arm. And that'll be his first and the team 5th. Usually, anytime you throw that arm out and push off with the arm, 99% of the time, that's going to be an offensive foul every time. Whether the defender is set or not, if you throw that arm out, more than likely you're going to get called for it. And now we've got a moving screen the other way against Marshall. So back-to-back offensive fouls. This one's on Dubinsky on the moving screen. That's his first. Up across the midcourt stripe come the Redhawks. Outside is Atlason. And the Redhawks almost turn it over again, but it goes off Marshall out of bounds, and it will stay with Miami with 17 on the shot clock. Peter Suter to inbound for the Redhawks. As we hit the 11-minute mark here in the first half. Losing the ball, now drawing a double team underneath and outside to a wide open Atlason who misses the 3, but an offensive rebound for the Redhawks and another crack at it. Suter drives. Suter layup good against a double team. Peter Suter gets inside. That's his second field goal. He's got 5 in the game. But at the other end, a wide open 3-pointer is off the front of the rim. No good. And back comes Miami of Ohio the other way. Kirby Skaljak now finds Atlason. Atlason at the foul line, lost the handle. That's loose on the floor, and Marshall comes up with it. Third Miami turnover. Open 3 again, short. So the three-point shooting not there early on for Marshall, as they're now just 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. Miami ball up 8. And now atop of the key three-pointer, a foul, and he hits it. A chance for a 4-point play as Atlason hits the three. Think this is the toughest opponent for Miami. Marshall's a pretty good team. They got a couple of road games yet that could be tricky. Or the Redhawks. They got to go to Ohio yet. They do have a return trip to UMass, who almost beat them in Oxford. Free throw is good by Atlason to complete the 4-point play, and that all of a sudden balloons the Redhawk lead to 12. As we are at the midway point of the first half. Thundering Herd with it. On the drive against a double team. That was not a good shot that time, but Marshall with another offensive rebound. That shot didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock's down to 7 here. Pass goes inside to Harding. Harding, they're going to put something up here with 2 on the clock. A runner at the shot clock buzzer, no good. Rebound to Miami with somebody that was sitting on his tuchus, cut down rebound. I didn't see who that was. And back comes Miami the other way. And Elmer stepped out of bounds as he was grabbing the ball in the corner, and it'll go back to Marshall. 4th turnover for the Redhawks in the first half. Marshall slows it down as they cross the midcourt stripe. Dubinsky with it. To Fricks. Back to Dubinsky on the outside. Dubinsky looking to drive, cannot. Kicks it back outside to Oshuti. Oshuti driving, cut off. Good defense here for Miami the last couple possessions. Dubinsky from the foul line. That's no good. Another offensive rebound for Marshall and a foul. That is 7 offensive rebounds in the first half for the Thundering Herd. Foul on Miami is their 6th. So Marshall will be shooting free throws for the remainder of the half, actually as will Miami, as both teams will be in the penalty now for the rest of the half for each foul here on out. Here's Landon Joseph on the outside. Joseph drives. Joseph with a nice pass inside, and the turnaround jumper's an air ball and out of bounds to Miami. So that was a good pass inside, but the shot was not very good, and now Marshall just 6 of 21 from the floor. Down to 8:20 here in the first half. Miami up 12. Woolfolk with it. Woolfolk driving. Woolfolk spins inside, gets cut off. Now will turn with the left hand. Can't get the bounce. Gets his own rebound and is blocked under the basket. It will stay with the Redhawks with 18 on the shot clock. Perry will inbound under the basket for Miami. Perry gets it to Elmer. Elmer, nice pass into Perry with a great pass to Woolfolk, who lays it in with the left hand. Woolfolk now with 5, and the lead for Miami is 14 as they're on an 8-0 run. We'll have the under 8 timeout at the next whistle here. Marshall needing to find some offense as they're shooting they're now under 30% from the floor. Layup, no good. Offensive rebound again for Marshall, and the drive inside. That layup's no good. Follow, no good. That is 3 point-blank layups on that possession that Marshall could not get to fall. And Miami finally comes down with the rebound. Woolfolk, Elmer, Elmer now steps back out. Gives it off to Peter Suter. Suter looking to drive. Now draws a double team. Kicks it outside to Woolfolk. Pass deflected and stolen by Marshall. Bryce Slay with it for Marshall. Slay looking to drive. Slay gets loose and he misses. And the shooting woes continue for Marshall. Now just 24% from the floor. Suter draws a triple team and kicks it outside to Perry. Perry drives. Perry outside to Woolfolk. Woolfolk gives it off, and a wide open three is good for Ian Elmer. His 4-3 of the first half. It is 33-16 Redhawks. Timeout, Marshall. The Redhawks have come out and have built a big lead here in the first half, but Marshall has not helped themselves with under 25% shooting. I like your question, Jack. How do you know all the names? Well, this is about the fourth or fifth Miami stream I've done this year, live stream of a Miami game, so I'm starting to know them pretty good. And Marshall, I mean, I've got the box score in front of me, so I can easily, well, I don't know about easily, but I've got I really don't need Miami's anymore. I pretty much know what players are what numbers. Marshall's, though, I've got the roster right here in front of me. Miami, I've told you, Marshall just 24% shooting, 6 of 25 from the floor. Vice versa, Miami is 60% from the floor at 12 of 20. And they are 5 for 6 from three-point range. Oh, Jack, Luke's your favorite player? I like what I've seen out of him. He's a good role player. He can step up offensively when he needs to, but I really like the defense he plays as well. Ian Elmer leading the way in the first half for the Redhawks with 12 points on 4 3-pointers. And Marshall somehow, some way is going to have to find some offense somewhere in this game, as they are in a 17-point hole to the undefeated Redhawks. Arizona has jumped out to a 19-9 lead now on Oklahoma State as they try to stay undefeated. Still 11 minutes to go in the first half in that game. Illinois, Michigan State, a top 10 matchup yet to come tonight. I want to be on the live stream for that one. That's still up in the air, though. But I'm going to try to be on for the live stream on that top 10 matchup from East Lansing later on tonight between the Fighting Illini and the Spartans. Yeah, that's a good point there, Jack, on the live stream. A young player there in Luke Skaljack, too. Yeah, he's only a sophomore. So out of the inbound, Marshall, will bring it up across the midcourt stripe. Marshall needs a basket in the worst way. Three-pointer on the way. That is no good. And the shooting woes continue. And out of bounds, it will go to Miami. Well, that's one thing you could not afford against Miami. They have a bad shooting game. And unfortunately for Marshall here in the first half, that is exactly what they're going through, as the shots just are not dropping here in the first half. Elmer inbound for the Redhawks. as they bring it up across the midcourt stripe with a comfortable 17-point lead as we hit 6 to play here in the first half. Atlason drives. Atlason gets cut off, kicks it outside to Perry. Now Perry on the drive. Layup with the left hand, rolled out. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. Boy, that ball did everything but drop for Perry. Here's an open three-pointer. That's an air ball. And out of bounds to Miami. Marshall now 1 of 9 from beyond the arc. Jalen Spear returns to the lineup for Marshall. Big crowd on hand in Huntington this afternoon, but so far haven't had much to cheer about for their hometown Thundering Herd. And inside and getting loose as Marshall defense fell asleep underneath the basket, and Kirby gets the easy layup. And it's 35-16, and Marshall throws it out of bounds. Here come the Redhawks as up across the midcourt stripe. Now Atlason to Skaljak. Outside Atlason wide open for 3. That's short. Rebound pulled down by Marshall, almost losing it, but Spear comes down with it. And here come the Thundering Herd. Layup, no, but a foul. And Marshall will finally have a chance to get some more points on the board. Marshall has not scored since the 11:50 mark. So this is almost a 7-minute scoring drought, and the first free throw is no good. You'd think a lot of Miami players transfer as Jack's out. I hope not. I hope Coach Steele's able to keep this team together. But if they continue this undefeated run, you know there's going to be some big schools looking at these players. But I hope Coach Steele is able to keep this team together. Second free throw is good to snap an almost 7-minute scoring drought. Deep 3 from the Marshall logo is good for Elmar Atlason. He's got 7.5, and the Miami lead is 21. And Marshall turns it over again. Well, Marshall can get nothing going offensively here in the first half. A bump inside. Skaljak count the basket. And he'll have a chance for a 3-point play. And the Redhawks are pouring it on here in the first half. It is 40-17 with the free throw coming. That foul is on Kai Spears. Skaljak with 5 points in the game, make it 6 as he hits the free throw. And the lead now 24 for the Redhawks, 41-17. Otsudi with it, and he puts it on the floor, and another Marshall turnover. At the other end against a double team, shot no good. That was not a good look that time for Miami. And back comes Marshall the other way with Slay. And now we have a reach-in foul. And that brings us to the under 4 timeout. 3:54 to play in the first half. All Redhawks, 41-17 over Marshall here in the first half. You know, people said Miami would lose to. Yeah, I heard a lot of people this week saying that this very well could be the first loss of the season for Miami. We do still have a second half to go. And you don't figure Marshall's going to shoot 22% 2 halves in a row. So you figure their offense is going to pick up here eventually. The problem is, are they going to dig themselves too big of a hole to be able to come out of? This is a Marshall team that's 15-8 on the season. So this is no slouch of a Marshall team. They are currently tied for third in the Sun Belt standings. But they are getting it taken to them here in the first half by Miami. Give you updated on that Arizona score, the other undefeated team in the country. Arizona up 25-18 over Oklahoma State. 6 minutes to play in the first half in that one. I had a live stream of Arizona last week at BYU. That was almost Arizona's first loss of the season. BYU almost took down Arizona, but they were able to pull that game out to stay undefeated. Number 11, Kansas wins at home today over Utah, 71-59. Kansas has been playing a lot better basketball here as of late. Allen Fieldhouse, always a tough place to play. Shocker of the day so far, number 15, Vanderbilt getting thumped at home by Oklahoma at the half, 48-34 is that halftime score in Nashville. Do I do this only for games on ESPN? No. I do games from no matter what channel it's on. Like I say, I'd like to get on for that Illinois-Michigan State game tonight. I think that is the primetime game on Fox tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I've been doing a lot of Miami games this year just simply because they're undefeated as Spear hits the first free throw out of the timeout. Haven't done as much Arizona games as I would have liked to because I'm on the East Coast and with them on the West Coast, a lot of their games don't start till late. And with me still having a full-time job, that sometimes is a little bit too late for me. As the second free throw is no good. But then a bad pass off the missed free throw, and Marshall almost had the steal, but the Redhawks will keep it. Redhawks bring it up the floor as Skaljack crosses the midcourt stripe. Skaljack looking to drive, gets free, kicks it outside for a wide open three to Byers. That's short. Byers back in with the 2 personal fouls, and back comes Marshall. Spear gets free for a 3. That's no good. And a foul on the rebound against Marshall. That'll be the 8th team foul. It'll be a 1-and-1 here for the Redhawks. Peter Suter is at the line for a 1-and-1. First, missed the front end. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. Down to 3:20 here in the first half. Pass knocked away, and here comes a three-pointer. That is good, and that is Marshall's first field goal in over 10 minutes. The 13:51 mark of the first half was the Marshall's last field goal before that three-pointer. 43-21. Luke has 6 points here in the half for Miami. And there's a shot inside, goes down for the Redhawks to extend the lead to 21. At the other end, a three-pointer. That's back-to-back threes down the court for Marshall as Slay hits this one in the corner. And it's 43-24 as we're down to 2.5 to play in the first half. And now inside. Nice feed, but Suter, count it, and a foul. Suter drew a double team underneath, just kind of threw that ball at the basket, got fouled, and the shot dropped. And he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Fouls on Kai Spears. That's his second. So Spears, Kai Spears, Jalen Spear, and Caleb Hollenbeck, 2 fouls apiece for Marshall here in the first half. Suter at the line with 7 points, trying to make it 8, but he missed the free throw. And Marshall pulls down the rebound. So the Miami lead is 45-24. Otsuti with it on the Marshall logo at midcourt. Dubinsky outside for a three. That's no good. Offensive rebound again for Marshall, and the layup inside goes down. Otsuti with 8 here in the half for Marshall, 45-26. Before that three-pointer that Marshall had hit to break about a 10.5-minute field goal drought, they had missed 17 consecutive shots from the field. Suter with it now, but now they've hit 3 of their last 5. Suter drives. Suter kicks it back outside, and a deep three by Skaljak is no good off the front of the rim, and it is out of bounds. No foul. They're just going to say Miami ball. Boy, Dubinsky went flying into the first row there. I thought he got pushed, but they just say out of bounds. And Marshall head coach Corny Jackson, none too pleased with that no foul call, as he's letting the officials hear about it. Driving layup attempt, no good. And we have a held ball on the rebound attempt, and this time the possession arrow will be in the Redhawks' favor. Coming up at the half, we will run down the top 25 scoreboard. We will run down the scoreboard from the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Off the inbound, an easy layup. And again, the Marshall defense fell asleep underneath the basket. 47-26, final minute, first half. Three-pointer is good for Wyatt Fricks. That's now 3 3-pointers the last 4 trips down the court for Marshall as they try to chip away here, but it's still an 18-point deficit. Suter over to Skaljak. Skaljak passes inside to Woolfolk. Woolfolk guarded by Dubinsky, gets right by him and lays it in. That was a bit of a mismatch right there. And Travis Steele is going to take his use it or lose it first half timeout with 35.2 seconds remaining in the first half. 49-29. Miami up 20 as they look to go to 24-0. Miami next in action coming up on Friday back at Millett Hall against their rival Ohio Bobcats. It's a late start time for that Friday night game, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And ESPN Linear Television has picked up that game on Friday. Should Miami still be undefeated in that game, which is looking very likely at this point, unless Marshall has a big second half rally, I hope to be on the live stream on that one Friday night for you from Millett Hall. Marshall will bring it up the floor. 5-second difference, shot clock, game clock. As Marshall's just dribbling the ball out there near the midcourt stripe. Otsudi with it. Shot clock down to 13. Otsudi bounce pass to Jalen Spear, and he gets fouled. If that's Peter Suter, it's his third. Or I'm sorry, no, it isn't. Excuse me, it's only his second. It is on Suter, so that'll be number 2 on Suter. So Suter joins Byers with 2 personals for Miami. And Jalen Spear will be at the line with 6 points here in the first half. First of the 1-1 is good. 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Redhawks will have a chance for the final shot here in the first half. Second free throw is also good. 49-31, 14 seconds to play here in the first half. Redhawks bringing up the floor for the final shot of the first half. 8 seconds. Skaljak draws a double team on the outside. Skaljak finds Woolfolk down to 3 seconds. Woolfolk, the turnaround jumper, short, and that's how the first half will come to a close. A great first half on the road for the Miami Redhawks, and they lead at 49-31 over Marshall at the half. Thanks to 56% shooting for the Redhawks in the first half compared to just 30% for Marshall. And the Redhawks 20 minutes away from moving their record to 24-0 on the season, as it is an 18-point lead at the break. 49-31 for Miami of Ohio. Well, let's run down the top 25 scoreboard across college basketball. Got a lot of top 25 teams in action, a lot of ranked versus ranked matchups today as well. And the number 1 team in the country, the Arizona Wildcats, they are up 31-18 in the first half at home in Tucson over Oklahoma State. Just shy of 4 minutes remaining in the first half in that game. One of the 2 featured games of the day out in Chapel Hill, as number 14 North Carolina will entertain number 4 Duke, that long-time ACC rivalry. 2 schools separated by just 8 miles, North Carolina and Duke. That game will tip off at 6:30 Eastern out there at the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, as North Carolina would like a win over their rivals. Duke, a top 5 team as they have been for most of the season. Another featured game, a top 10 matchup in East Lansing tonight, as number 5 Illinois will be in East Lansing to take on number 10 Michigan State. Again, I hope to be on the live stream on that one. That is not set in stone that I will be, but I hope to be on the live stream for that game. That game tips off at 8 o'clock Eastern or thereabouts from the Breslin Center there in East Lansing. Illinois has been on quite a bit of a roll here recently. Number 6 Gonzaga back in action today, coming off that puzzling loss to Portland earlier in the week. They are in Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers tonight, trying to rebound from that loss to Portland and get back in the winning column. Number 7, Iowa State earlier today held off Baylor 72-69. That final score as Iowa State now moves to 21-2 on the season. Top 16 matchup in Provo tonight as the number 8 Houston Cougars are in Provo to take on the 16th ranked BYU Cougars. BYU in the midst of a 3-game losing streak here. They're trying to right the ship. They're coming off a loss in Stillwater to Oklahoma State earlier in the week. They look to right the ship against the Houston Cougars. Nikolai jumping in the live chat saying, how's Marshall looking? Well, unfortunately for Marshall, they're in an 18-point hole here to the 23rd ranked and undefeated Miami Redhawks. Marshall, if you're a Marshall fan, they unfortunately went through a streak in the first half where they missed 17 consecutive shots. So that's the reason for the big deficit at the half. There is still a second half to go, but they're going to have quite the uphill climb here. Back to the top 25 scoreboard. Number 9, Nebraska, 80-68, the final score in Piscataway as they defeated Rutgers. Nebraska had fallen a little bit of a funk there, but they got back in their winning ways with this win over Rutgers today. Number 11, Kansas, 71-59 win at Allen Fieldhouse over Utah. Kansas moves to 18-5 on the season. Number 12, Purdue, tight one. They defeat the Oregon Ducks 68-64 in West Lafayette earlier today. Oklahoma is thrashing number 15 Vanderbilt in Nashville 61-40 with 15 minutes to go in the second half. Oklahoma just putting the hurting on Vanderbilt today out there in Nashville. Defending national champion number 17 Florida in action in College Station later tonight against the Aggies of Texas A&M. That game will tip off at 8:30 Eastern. Number 18 Virginia picks up a home win over Syracuse today, 72-59. That final score. Virginia with their 20th win as they're now 20-3 on the season. Number 19, St. Louis. LaSalle kept it close for a while, but St. Louis has pulled away now, 76-54. St. Louis well on their way to their 17th win in a row. They're going to go to 23-1 on the season. Number 20, Clemson makes the cross-country trip to Berkeley to take on the Cal Bears. Tipping off at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks, 21st ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, no problem on the road today in Starkville against Mississippi State, 88-68. Arkansas now 17-6 on the season. Number 24, Louisville gets the win over Wake Forest today, 88-80. Louisville now 17-6. And number 25, Tennessee, on the road later on tonight at Rupp Arena in Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. That game will tip off at 8:30 Eastern Time or thereabouts from Lexington. And, of course, this game here is part of the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. This is a out of later season conference showdown, kind of like the ACC Big Ten had. Now I think it's the ACC, SEC, or whatever that is now that they do. So this is one of those late in-season conference battles here. And game, we had a doozy between UMass and Coastal Carolina earlier today in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. Coastal Carolina 94-91 win in triple overtime over UMass. Appalachian State picked up a 65-60 win over Eastern Michigan. So the Sun Belt got off to a quick 2-0 lead in the challenge, but then Northern Illinois was able to get the MAC their first win of the challenge as they went on the road to Atlanta and beat Georgia State 75-74. Texas State picks up a 77-61 win over Western Michigan. Kent State is winning in Hattiesburg over Southern Miss 63-60, 42 seconds to go in that game. Ball State wins on the road at UL Monroe, that's Louisiana Monroe, 73-68, that final score. So right now in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge, the Sun Belt leads 3-2. It takes 7 wins to win the challenge. Though the Sun Belt with a 1-win lead right now, but if Kent State can hold on and get that win at Southern Miss, that's going to tie things up. Still to come tonight in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge, Akron against Troy. I believe that game's on ESPNU, I believe, tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Ohio and Old Dominion at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. ESPN2 for that Akron-Troy game tonight as part of the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. So that's a look at that, the scores from this tournament going on. Here it is 49-31 at the half. Miami of Ohio leading Marshall as the MAC looks to add another win here. Take a look at some of the first half stats from this game. Miami, 56% shooting, 19 of 34 from the floor. They were 6 of 10 from three-point range, 60%. We're just 5 of 9 at the free throw line in the first half, though, for 56%. Meanwhile, Marshall, they 10 out of 33 in the first half for 30%, but they picked that up. At one point, they were at 22% shooting. They were 4 of 14 from three-point range at 29% and 7 of 12 at the free throw line for 58%. Miami, a 2-rebound edge over Marshall, 23-21. Marshall turned it over 6 times in the first half. Miami turned it over 5. Marshall was able to pick up 10 offensive rebounds in that first half to give themselves plenty of second chance opportunities. Weren't able to capitalize on a lot of those. Individual numbers in the first half, Ian Elmer leading the way for the Redhawks with 12 points on a perfect 4 for 4 shooting performance from three-point range in the first half. 9 points apiece from Antoine Woolfolk and Peter Suter. 7 points off the bench for Almar Atlason. 6 points for Luke Skaljak. 4 out of Justin Kirby and 2 points out of Trey Perry to round out the scoring for the Redhawks. For Marshall in the first half, they had 3 players with 8 points in the first half: Wyatt Fricks, Noah Otsudi, and Jalen Spear. 3 points apiece from Eric Harding and Bryce Slay, and 1 point out of Landon Joseph to round out the scoring for Marshall in that first half. As it is Miami up by 18 at the half, 49-31. As we're just a couple minutes away here from the beginning of the second half. From Huntington, West Virginia. Running down some other sports news, Winter Olympics getting underway. And a look at the early medal count from out there in Italy. And Norway, Japan, and Italy are leading the way so far with 3 medals each. Sweden has 2 and 1 medal each for Switzerland, Slovenia, China, and Canada. The game's really just getting into full action today. They actually started back on Wednesday, even before the opening ceremony, as women's ice hockey started back there on Wednesday. But the Winter Olympics out there in Italy getting in full swing of things. Heather got some more hockey today. Got some, I believe there's some skiing going on tonight. Figure skating getting in their early competition. Get set for the medal round later on. And of course, Super Bowl 60 tomorrow night from Santa Clara, California. The Seahawks and the Patriots. And I will be on the live stream for Super Bowl 60 tomorrow night. That is scheduled for a 6:30 kickoff. That's probably going to be more like 6:45, 6:50. But I will be on the live stream. I will probably go on my page probably just after the national anthem is probably when I'll jump on and see who will hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy as the champions of Super Bowl 60. Will the Patriots bring home their 7th Super Bowl, or will the Seahawks bring home their 2nd? They have reached the half now in Tucson. Number 1 and undefeated Arizona, 40-22 lead over Oklahoma State. So Arizona looking well on their way to staying undefeated on the season. Oklahoma still continuing to lead number 15 Vanderbilt big in Nashville. 64-47 that score. 11:46 remaining. Vanderbilt's been on, I don't know if funk is the right word, but they haven't been playing as well here recently. And they're getting it taken to them at home tonight by Oklahoma, and that is now a final. St. Louis defeats LaSalle 82-58. St. Louis wins their 17th in a row and goes to 23-1 on the season. I have had the Billikens on my live stream several times this year as well. That is a good basketball team, and one, assuming they do make the NCAA tournament field, that is not a team you are going to want to see as your opposition. But here we are just about ready to get underway here in the second half. Miami looking to stay undefeated, up 49-31 here at the break over Marshall. Teams getting their final instructions. Excuse me. And we are just about set to get underway. Marshall will inbound to open half number 2, which begins right now as Hollenbeck inbounds the ball. Marshall needing a big second half rally. That layup attempt is nowhere near from Noah Otsuti, and Miami pulls down the rebound. Redhawks with their first possession of the second half. Woolfolk on the outside. Woolfolk will put the ball on the floor, and we have got a tie-up, it looks like. Possession arrow keeps it with Miami. So Miami with a little bit of a break there as Woolfolk simply just lost the dribble. But they do keep it on the alternating possession. Inbound it comes to Skaljak. Skaljak drives. Skaljak spins. Off balance. Jumper is short. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. Hurd with it. This is Spear. Cross-court pass for a three-pointer that is short. Rebound pulled down by Elmer of the Redhawks. Minute old, second half. Here's Suter on the outside. Suter looking to drive. Suter gets bumped. Suter off balance jumpers and air ball, but the rebound put back is good by Woolfolk. And the lead for Miami is back to 20. Woolfolk now with 11. Here's Spear. Jalen Spear looking for help as the Marshall works it around the arc. Now a pass inside to Harding, and Harding has it knocked out of bounds. It will stay Marshall ball. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Hollenbeck inbound to Harding. Harding off to Spear. Spear inside on the lob, and the put in is good from Eric Harding on a great feed from Jalen Spear, and it's 51-33. Woolfolk goes inside. And now Skaljak on the outside. Nice pass inside to Suter. He missed it, and it's rebounded by Marshall. There's a lot of contact under there, but no whistle. Spear. Spear with it, and he'll take a three-pointer. That's good for Jalen Spear. He's got 11 points, and Marshall on a little mini run here as they're within 15 now, 51-36. Here's Byers. Byers spins. Byers has it blocked. It will stay with Miami, but a rejection underneath the basket. Miami will inbound under the basket with 17 on the shot clock. Woolfolk, and that's pass is knocked out of bounds. Once again, it'll stay with Miami. 11 now on the shot clock. Inbound, it comes to Woolfolk. Miami's going to have to put a shot up here, down to 5 on the shot clock. Suter double teamed. Suter finds Woolfolk. Woolfolk with the layup at the shot clock buzzer. Woolfolk now has 13, and it's 53-36. And Marshall throws it out of bounds. Looked like some miscommunication there between Fricks and Dubinsky. Redhawks will bring it up the floor as Skaljak crosses the midcourt stripe, gives it off to Woolfolk. Now Peter Suter. Suter outside to Skaljak now. Skaljak finds Suter. Out to Byers, who has an open three-pointer. That's around the rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. Fricks with it. Over to Jalen Spear, and Spear will back it out. Spear tries a three-pointer. That's too strong. Rebound pulled down by Miami, but we have a loose ball foul on the Redhawks underneath the basket. First foul of the second half. This one's going to go against Woolfolk. That's his second. And it'll be an inbound under the basket for Marshall. Marshall off the inbound. Layup, no good. And Miami knocks it out of bounds. It's going to stay with Marshall. Boy, it looked like that Wyatt Fricks found Dubinsky there, and it looked like Dubinsky was going to have an easy layup, but not to be. And now a long three-pointer. That was not a good shot at all for Marshall. And back come the Redhawks the other way. Skaljak on the drive and gets bumped underneath, but will kick it outside. And a three-pointer in the corner in front of the Miami bench is good. and the lead is back to 20 for the Redhawks. Timeout. Almar Atlason with that three-pointer. He's got 7 points. 20-point lead for Miami of Ohio. 4 minutes old, second half. So Miami still shooting the ball well. As they're still at 52% from the floor, Marshall still just 30%. Updating some of these scores here. Sunbelt picks up another win in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge as Southern Miss came back in the final minute to beat Kent State 66-65. So it is now a 5-2 lead for the Sunbelt over the MAC. So the Sunbelt needs just 2 more wins to win the challenge over the MAC. As Arkansas State blows out Bowling Green 91-54, that final score. As following the timeout, it'll be Marshall bringing the ball up the floor. Dubinsky with it. Landon Joseph finds Dubinsky again. And now a step back open three-pointer. That's too strong. Another offensive rebound for the Herd. That is one thing that's gone right tonight. That is now 13 offensive rebounds. Joseph in the corner hits a three. Landon Joseph with his first field goal. And it's 56-39. And we've got a foul underneath the basket. This one's going to go on Marshall, and it's going to go on... Not sure who they got that foul on, actually. Here's Atlason with another three-pointer. That one's short off the front of the rim. And back comes Marshall the other way. Joseph, that's back-to-back threes for Landon Joseph. And 6 straight for Marshall, and it's within 14 now, 56-42. You didn't figure Marshall would shoot that poorly 2 halves in a row, and they have picked up their shooting so far here in the second half. Atlason throws up a wild shot but gets fouled, and Atlason will head to the line for 2. That's going to be the third foul on Jalen Spear. So the leading scorer in the game for Marshall now has 3 fouls. First free throw, no good. One thing, Miami has not helped themselves at the free throw line tonight. Now they're just 5 out of 10. Does hit the second. 57-42. Miami lead is 15. Dubinsky with it on the outside. And the driving layup up and good. That's 8 consecutive points scored by Landon Joseph. And the lead is now 13, 57-44. Perry brings it up across the timeline, over to Atlason as we hit 14 minutes to play. And there's a loose ball reach in, and we are going to have a tie-up, and the arrow will give it to Marshall. So the Herd showing some signs of life here. We're a bad free throw team, says Jack. Yeah, not helping themselves tonight. Here's Marshall. Joseph, he's had the hot hand. He'll try a three. Short. Rebound Miami. Redhawks dodge a bullet there. Redhawks slowing it down a little bit. Now Byers, a deep three-pointer. That was way back there, and the shot is well short. Back comes Marshall. Now a driving layup up and good. And this is down to an 11-point game. Timeout Miami. As the Thundering Herd have gotten themselves back in this thing. Down 18 at the half. They have pulled within 11 with 13-19 to play. And for the first time tonight, the crowd is in this. Miami's shooting's cooled off here as they're down to 50%. Again, just 6 of 11 at the free throw line tonight. Marshall now at 35% from the floor. But Landon Joseph has stepped up offensively off the bench for Marshall. He's got 9 points. As Marshall has gotten themselves back in this basketball game. At 57-46. Still a little over 13 minutes to play. Arizona continuing to lead Oklahoma State big, 47-25 in the second half. Oklahoma still up big at number 15, Vanderbilt, 76-58. A little over 6 minutes left there in Nashville. Vanderbilt's going to have to try to right the ship here a little bit. They have not been playing good basketball the last 3 weeks. Again, still to come tonight. Number 4 Duke, number 14 North Carolina. That game tips off at 6:30 out in Chapel Hill. Number 5 Illinois, number 10 Michigan State in East Lansing. That game tips off just after 8 o'clock Eastern time. Again, we'll try to be on the live stream on that. That's not a guarantee, but we'll try to be on for that one. Number 8 Houston, number 16 BYU. That's a late Eastern time tip, 10:30. The 8:30 out there in Provo. Number 17, Florida, Texas A&M tonight. And number 25, Tennessee in Rupp Arena to take on Kentucky. Those are some top 25 games still yet to come tonight. But here, all of a sudden, we've got a little bit of a ball game here. 57-46, the Miami lead over Marshall has been cut to 11. First time tonight that the crowd's been able to get involved. And now Marshall putting some press on the inbound here. But now they'll back off as Perry brings it across the midcourt stripe. Perry gets bumped outside, but no call. Here's Suter. Suter drives. Suter right hand layup is good. He got loose underneath the basket and got the easy layup. Suter now in double figures with 11. Third Redhawk to reach double figures tonight. 59-46. Joseph. Bounce pass to Spear, and Spear is fouled on the drive. Correction, no foul, just out of bounds. And Marshall loses the basketball once again, and they turn it over for the 8th time. You should show last 3 minutes if a close game. We'll see. Here's Suter up across the midcourt stripe. Suter, there's a reach in and a steal. Miami turns it over. Here's a three-pointer. That's good in the corner. Jamari Hughie with the three, and it is a 10-point game as we near 12 minutes to go. Scaljak and the Redhawks turn it over. And now Marshall will have a chance to get this to single digits for the first time since very early in the first half. Here comes Marshall. Spear for three. No. Rebound Miami. Boy, that would have blown the lid off. Or the roof off if that shot would have dropped. Here's Woolfolk. Woolfolk, and we've got a reach-in foul on Marshall. Just their third team foul here in the second half. However, the good news is that's only the third team foul. The bad news is for Marshall, Jalen Spear just picked up his fourth. So we've got a timeout, the under 12 with 11:41 to go. 59-49, Marshall within 10. Redhawks are being led tonight by Antoine Woolfolk with 13. Ian Elmer has 12. Peter Suter with 11. That's the three in double figures for Miami. Marshall, Wyatt Fricks and Jalen Spear, 11 points apiece. As those are the two they have put in double figures so far. As the Miami lead, which was, I believe, 23, has been their largest lead. That was in the first half. It has been trimmed to 10 with still 11:41 to play. Told you Miami next in action this coming Friday, back at home against the Ohio Bobcats. Marshall back on the court on Wednesday as they step back in Sun Belt Conference play. They travel to Old Dominion for their next contest. Following this game today, both teams will have 7 games remaining in the regular season, as conference tournament action is just around the corner. As I can't believe I'm even saying this, where's the season gone? Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament. 6 weeks from tomorrow. Correct. I'm sorry. Excuse me. 5 weeks from tomorrow. I beg your pardon. That is just hard to believe. So here it is, a 10-point game. Redhawks to inbound. I mistakenly said right before that timeout it's Marshall ball, but that was incorrect. And now it might be Marshall ball, as in Miami almost turns it over. It's a tie-up. Miami will keep it on the possession arrow. So the Redhawks will inbound under the basket. In it comes to Woolfolk. Scaljak has it blocked, but they're going to get a foul. And Scaljak will head to the line. Fouls on Wyatt Fricks. That's his first. Ooh, that was a lot of ball there. And they showed the replay. Scaljak hits the first free throw. There is a dude in the students section right during a game is getting his hair buzzed by one of his, I'm assuming that's one of his friends over there. 61-49. Open three-pointer. That's off the front of the rim, no good. And a nice rebound there for Woolfolk for the Redhawks as he batted it to himself. Suter will bring it across the timeline. Suter looking to drive, kicks it back outside. And the running layup is good for Byers. Brant Byers makes it 63-49. That's 5 points tonight for Byers. He got saddled in early foul trouble. Three-pointer at the other end, around and out. That thing was halfway down and came out. And nice pass and a dunk underneath for Woolfolk on a great feed from Suter. And 6 straight for Miami out of the timeout to push the lead back to 16. Outside with it is Hughie. Three-pointer on the way. That's long. Offensive rebound again for Marshall. They've had a few of those tonight. That's now 14 offensive rebounds. Dubinsky with a nice feed and the layup and one. Count the basket for Wyatt Fricks. And he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Elliott 300 jumping on the live chat. You got Duke on the tonight, do you? Well, I've been saying all year I think North Carolina's ranking's been a little bit high. I don't think they're a top 25 team, but I don't think they're a top 15 team. Fricks hits the free throw to make it a three-point play. 65-52. Marshall again showing some press on the inbound. Skowjak will bring it up across the midcourt stripe as we have hit the midway point of the second half. Byers to Woolfolk. Woolfolk looking for help. Nice bounce pass, but it goes right through the legs of Skowjak. Skowjak was open underneath, and the pass went right through his legs. Turnover for Miami. Ninth turnover for the Redhawks. Marshall brings it up the floor. Joseph with the pass inside, and the pass goes back outside. Dubinsky. And the pass underneath for the layup. Noah Ochudy now with 10. He's the third Marshall player in double figures, and Marshall scored 5 straight. 65-54. Skowjak gets double teamed and has it stripped from behind. Back comes Marshall. Layup is good, and this is a 9-point game as Landon Joseph gets the layup to go. Woolfolk will bring it across the midcourt stripe. This is the first time this game's been at a single-digit spread since very early in the first half. And the Redhawks turn it over again. Boy, if Marshall gets a basket this trip, things are going to get very, very interesting. Crowd is back in this one. And I thought it was a Miami turnover, but Miami's inbounding the ball, but now can't get the ball in and have to take a timeout. So they are down to 1 timeout. That ball must have been deflected on the out-of-bounds play from Marshall, but I didn't see anybody hitting. I thought Miami threw that ball out of bounds. But then the good press on the inbound forces Miami to take their next to last timeout. How the tide has turned in this one. Miami was up 18 at halftime. But Marshall has fought back. They have held Miami to 16 points so far in the second half. So now Miami will try again out of the timeout, and they do get it in this time. And a foul on the way up as Atlason is driving to the basket. And Elmar Atlason heads to the line for 2 for the Redhawks. With 8:39 to go. Crowd not too happy with that foul call. First free throw up and good for Atlason. He's now in double figures, so the Redhawks have put their 4th player in double figure scoring tonight. Atlason hits both free throws. 67-56. 8.5 left. Dubinsky. Outside to Ochudy. Ochudy, outside it goes. And now the drive, the spin, but can't get a shot. Dubinsky sends it back out. Here's Joseph, who's had the hot hand in the second half. Joseph gets inside, throws it up with the right hand. No good. Good defensive series that time for the Redhawks. And now a deep three-pointer, no good. Rebound pulled down by Marshall. And we have got a foul away from the ball. And that will bring us to the under 8 timeout with 7:55 to play. 67-56. Miami over Marshall. Yes, Jack, 6-7. Yes. Miami, a team that averages 93, nearly 93 a game. Marshall averages just over 80. So both teams a little bit under their pace. Updates on a couple of those top 25 scores. Arizona, a huge lead on Oklahoma State, 57-28 in the second half. Arizona has been number one most of the season, and from what I've seen this year, they do look like the best team in the country. They can beat you in a number of ways. They are so balanced across the board. Vanderbilt attempting a late rally, but they're still trailing Oklahoma at home by 12, 84-72. Down to about 2 minutes in that game in Nashville. Finals from earlier today. Number 7, Iowa State got by Baylor, 72-69. Number 9, Nebraska gets back on track, 80-68 win over Rutgers. Number 11, Kansas wins at home, 71-59 over Utah. Number 12, Purdue, 68-64 over Oregon. Number 18, Virginia, 72-59 win at home over Syracuse. Number 19, St. Louis wins their 17th in a row, 82-58 over LaSalle. Number 21, Arkansas, 88-68 win at Mississippi State. And number 24, Louisville, an 8-point win at Wake Forest, 88-80. That's final scores around the top 25 so far. As Marshall inbounds here. And a nice spin move. Inside, counted, and a foul. Alciuti underneath gets the basket and a chance for a three-point play to cut this lead to 8. Like they got Justin Kirby on the foul. Free throw's no good. So the lead stays 9. And we have a foul underneath on the rebound on Marshall. That is team foul number 7, so it will be 1-1. Miami will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. On each Marshall foul here on out. First free throw up and good. Elmer will get the bonus. And he hits them both. $69-58. And that shot underneath the basket, no good. Woolfolk can't quite pull down the rebound, and it will stay Marshall ball. Sunbelt's about to pick up another win as South Alabama about to close out Buffalo, so that will put the Sunbelt 1 win away from winning the challenge over the MAC. Joseph looking to inbound, gets it in to Dubinsky, but he's stripped from behind. Steal for Miami, layup, good for Elmer. 71-58. Joseph with it. Over to Fricks. Fricks goes inside, now back outside, back over to Fricks. Fricks finds an open man in the corner for three in front of the Marshall bench. That's no good. Rebound still loose on the floor, finally picked up by Suter of the Redhawks. And Suter is stripped from behind, but they're going to get a foul on Marshall. And Miami will have a 1-and-1. Foul is on Landon Joseph. One and one here for Peter Suter. First is good. He'll get the bonus. Got them both. Lead back to 15 for Miami. Marshall needs a basket this trip. And we're going to have a foul underneath on the Redhawks. It'll be the 15th foul. I think they got Woolfolk on that one. So that'll be his third. And 2 shots at the line here for Marshall. First of 2 is no good. Marshall now just 8 of 15 at the free throw line. Does hit the second. 73-59, Miami. 6:40 to go. Woolfolk will bring it up across the timeline for the Redhawks. Woolfolk, nice bounce pass inside. Reverse layup is good. 75-59. That's Ian Elmer with the layup, and that ball knocked out of bounds by Elmer. So Elmer gets the layup and then makes the play defensively. 16 points tonight for Ian Elmer. Marshall needs a basket this trip, and they will get it on the layup underneath for Otsudi. He's got 14, tied for team high with Wyatt Fricks, 75-61. Pull-up jumper is a swish for Luke Skaljak. Skaljak now in double figures. He's now the 5th Red Hawk to reach double figures. He's got 10. 77-61. And a foul. That's an and one on the drive. Count the basket for Otsudi. And he'll have a chance for a 3-point play. Skaljak whistled for his 3rd foul. And Otsudi hits the free throw. He's got 17 now. 77-64. And pressure on the inbound. And it's knocked in. It'll stay with Miami. And now Marshall showing a little bit of press once again on the inbound, but Skaljak breaks it without a problem. Skaljak gets loose. Now we'll pull up from the foul line. Instead, passes off for a wide open 3 that is good from Justin Kirby. 80-64. Marshall trying to answer at the other end with a 3. They cannot. Yet another offensive rebound. And now the drive inside. Layup, no, but the tip is good. Wyatt Fricks now has 16. Marshall has 17 offensive rebounds tonight. 5 minutes to play. Woolfolk. Ooh, Kirby was wide open under the basket, and Woolfolk missed him. Woolfolk instead gives it off to Suter. Suter will back it back out. 5 to shoot for Miami. Skaljack. Skaljack didn't have to throw this up at the rim. It's short. He had to throw that one up. Offensive rebound, and Elmer lays it in. Miami got the defensive stand, but Marshall got the defensive stand, but Miami with the offensive rebound. And it's 82-66. That runner in the lane is good by Otsudi. That gives him 19. 82-68. As we near 4 minutes to play. Suter dribbling across the midcourt stripe. Bounce pass to Skaljack. 10 to shoot. Skaljack drives. Skaljack bounce pass inside is a bad one, and Marshall takes it away. Miami's 12th turnover. Jalen Spear with it. Spear with a dangerous pass, but it's knocked out of bounds by Miami. And we've got the final media timeout with 3:36 to play. Redhawks up 82-68. Looking to stay unblemished. Miami back up to 56% shooting from the floor. Marshall's at 39%, but they have really picked up that pace here in the second half. They were shooting only 30% in the first half. Miami, 47% from three-point range. Marshall just 8 of 28 for 29%. Marshall, 10 of 17 at the free throw line, 59%. Miami, 14 of 19 for 74%. Rebound edge for Miami, a slight one, 36-34. Man, Arizona is now up by 40 over Oklahoma State, 74-34. I know Oklahoma State's not a tremendous team this year, although they did knock off BYU the other night. But, man, Arizona is just, like I said, they are looking like the best team in the country. A frantic comeback here for number 15 Vanderbilt, as they are within 4 of Oklahoma, 88-84. There's only 30 seconds left. That would be some kind of phenomenal comeback if Vanderbilt can come back and pull that game out. And it's now a final in one of our other games in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. South Alabama 81-69 over Buffalo. So that puts the Sunbelt one win away from a win in the challenge over the MAC. As the Sunbelt now has a 6-2 lead over the MAC. So out of the timeout, it is Marshall ball. Here comes a three-pointer on the way. That's an air ball. Rebound underneath, and it's blocked. Miami can run this clock under 3 minutes this trip if they want. Skaljack finds Suter back to Skaljack. Skowjak will drive. Skowjak will spin inside. Skowjak gets free underneath for the layup. 84-68 Redhawks. Foul line jumper at the other end is up and good for Jalen Spear. He's got 13. And it makes it a 14-point game again, 84-70. Elmer crosses the midcourt stripe. Skowjak. Skowjak outside. This is Suter getting bumped inside, but still gets it to go. Peter Suter now with 15. Fricks at the other end for Marshall. Fricks has it knocked away, and Miami saves it before it goes out of bounds. 2 minutes to play. Elmer will slow it down, and the Redhawks will be content to use the clock now. The drive inside. Suter lost it. Redhawks were still able to take almost a full 30 seconds off the clock. Marshall will get a layup at the other end for Noah Otsudi. That gives him 21 tonight. 86-72. Some press by Marshall, and too much of a press as a foul is called. We know Otsudi about 7 points over his season average. He averages just over 14 a game. He's got 21 tonight. But looks like it's going to fall short tonight. Fricks got called for that foul as he ran into Brent Byers. 1-1. First free throw, good. Brent Byers, the leading scorer on the season for Miami. He's been held to 6 points tonight. But other guys have stepped up. Byers hits 2. 88-72. Under a minute and a half. Spears' jumper just to the right of the foul line is no good. Rebound pulled down by Ian Elmer. And the Redhawks will bring it up across the midcourt stripe and just work on the clock. 1 minute to play. Skowjak bounces over to Peter Suter. 4 to shoot. Suter tries a three-pointer. That is off the rim, but an offensive rebound for Miami, and they can take another 20 seconds off. Marshall not even messing with fouling at this rate. This game's decided. At this point, I should say. Suter gets inside. Suter, right hand, no good, but tips in his own miss. Suter now with 17. Final 30 seconds. At the other end, Marshall will get an easy layup. 90-74. 23 points for Otsudi. Timeout, Marshall. 26.4 remaining. Looks like Oklahoma is going to end up pulling that out on the road at Vanderbilt, but a valiant second half comeback by Vanderbilt, but it's going to fall a little short, it looks like. Oklahoma's leading 89-85 over Vanderbilt with 10 seconds left. Redhawks will inbound. Marshall bringing some pressure. Well, there's a steal. Landon Joseph kicks it out, but a turnover for Miami, and the Redhawks are just going to dribble this out. Final 5 seconds, and the Miami Redhawks move to 24-0 as they have a near wire-to-wire victory over Marshall today, 90-74, the final score. Redhawks move to 24-0 on the season. Marshall will fall to 15-9. And Miami of Ohio will stay undefeated along with Arizona, as Arizona's up big over Oklahoma State. And Miami will try to make it 25-0 Friday night at home against their rival Ohio Bobcats. Marshall steps back into conference play on Wednesday against Old Dominion. Final stats from this one here. The Redhawks end up shooting 56% from the floor, 33 of 59. They were 8 of 18 from 3 at 44%. Didn't take as many three-point shots tonight as they're accustomed to taking in a game. Jack, let's go. Yeah, 7 to go. Miami 16 of 21 at the free throw line for 76%. Meanwhile, for Marshall, they ended up shooting 40%, 28 of 70. Much better shooting in the second half than they had in the first half. They were 8 of 29 from three-point range. Those were not falling at a good percentage tonight, just 28%. 10 of 17 at the free throw line for 59%. Rebound edge for the Redhawks, 40-35. Redhawks turned it over 13 times. Marshall turned it over 11. Miami put 5 in double figures, led by Ian Elmer's 18 points. Peter Suter added 17, 15 out of Antoine Woolfolk, 12 points out of Luke Skaljak, and 10 off the bench from Almar Atlason. Justin Kirby added 9 points. Brant Byers, leading scorer on the season for Miami, held to 7 points in this game, and 2 points off the bench from Trey Perry. Marshall was led by a great performance today by Noah Otsudi, 23 points. Wyatt Fricks added 16. Jalen Spear with 13, and Landon Joseph 11 off the bench as Marshall put 4 in double figures. 5 points out of Eric Harding and 3 points off the bench from Bryce Slay. The scoring for Marshall as Miami wins it 90-74. Again, moves Miami to 24-0 on the season. Marshall falls to 15-9 on the year. Well, that's going to wrap it up on this live stream here. Again, my name is John, Sports Bonanza John on YouTube. If you like my content, really would appreciate a like and subscribe there on YouTube. It would really help out a lot. Also on Kick today at Sports Kick John. You can follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at Sport Guru John. Have some content there, and we'll be putting more content there coming up here shortly. We'll be back. Tentatively, we'll be back tonight for Illinois and Michigan State. That is not set in stone. But if I will be on that Illinois-Michigan State game, I will be on at about 7:55 Eastern. Get you ready for that battle between the Illini and the Spartans. If I don't go on there, I will definitely be back tomorrow on the live stream for Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Appreciate you joining me. Appreciate everybody that chimed in on the live chat. Love talking to you guys there on the live chat. And either we'll talk to you later on tonight, hopefully, or for sure tomorrow for the Super Bowl, or maybe later tonight for Illinois-Michigan State. Thanks for joining me, everybody.